Incoming transmission. Oh no.
Welcome to Tennotalk, episode 20, the final episode of season 1. I'm your host, Rebecca, and joining me is my co-host, Jeremy.
Oh, I teared up a little bit.
I know.
20 episodes. Oh my God.
It's exciting. It's a lot of episodes, it feels like.
So if you've made it through 20 episodes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks for all the support and the love and the emails and all that stuff. We really appreciate it.
Also, trying not to get all like teary-eyed and misty or whatever. Thank you so much for the response to the end of last week's episode.
Yes.
Got some really amazing people out there, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it definitely. I know we both, when we uploaded that episode and we got it out finally after dealing with Comcast being stupid and fucking with our internet. So sorry that episode went out late, by the way. It took us about 6 hours to get that podcast uploaded.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
It was only 74 megabytes, and it took 6 hours to do because Comcast dropped our upload down to like 0.5.
Yep. But by the next
megabytes.
morning, everything was fine. They tried to tell us like it was our equipment. They had to send a maintenance guy out, but by 8, 9 o'clock the next morning, it was fine. So
yeah, so clearly it was on them for that.
we were out and about all day Tuesday, and like we kept like trying not to check our phones and stuff, and we saw some really great responses from you guys, so that we were like waiting with bated breath, like, oh my God, what's everybody gonna say?
Yeah, it was a really huge thing for us to kind of bring that out. But we do have a lot to go through today. We have our burnout discussion, plus we have DevStream 116 to go through. But really quick, we have some reminders to go through. So the Capture a Contest cutoff date is the September 29th. So a week from this upcoming Saturday. It's the last Saturday in September. The theme is the Halloween and spooky. So we want to see all of your spooky, dark, creepy capturas here.
And let me just interject. There are 5 or 6 winners already. Maybe more.
Everybody stepped it up this time.
I am super impressed by everything that we've seen so far. So keep them coming, because we need that one that's like the obvious winner, because right now I'm like, you all get $1 gift cards because I like all of you. You have to share first place.
That would be so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So you can submit your entry on the Tennotalk Discord channel for entries or through Twitter. If you do it through Twitter, make sure to @, us directly at Tenno_talk and use the hashtag Tennotalk contest. Just to make sure that we receive it. Twitter can be a fickle thing. Things can get lost. So we're trying to keep up on that as much as possible. So make sure that you add us so we're able to see that a lot easier, so we don't just suddenly not get your submission at all. The winner is going to get featured on our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel, the front page on the website, as well as a $25 gift card for their platform of choice. So either for PC, Xbox, or PlayStation 4, or PlayStation in general. And it hopes to put that towards Plat and Tennogen stuff, which would be super awesome. So that way, the next Capture a Contest, you can up your game a little bit and bring it even better.
And just so it's clear, you do not have to be on PC to enter. That's why you can get Xbox or PlayStation gift cards for this round. Because I could be wrong, but I think everybody who's entered is one of our PC players. So come on, consoles.
Yeah, you do not have to be a PC player to do this one, because we have opened it up to the other platforms as well with the prizes. Also, I know we probably said this at the beginning. You heard the final episode of season 1. If you haven't listened to episode 19, the last week's episode, I definitely recommend going and listening to it, especially if you're kind of confused about what's happening. But we will be coming back. This is the last episode under the Tennotalk banner. We're not going anywhere. We're still going to be releasing episodes, and you're still going to be getting weekly Warframe podcasts on this feed directly. But we're going to be coming back with season 2, and it's going to be titled One Couple Versus. The reason for that, quick little TLDR, we found somebody else that was using the name. They will not back down, and we really want to make sure that we have full control of, our content that we're releasing. So you guys can make sure you're getting the quality of content that we've hopefully set our bar for and continue and want to improve. So, with that, we will not be having an episode next Monday. We will be back with One Couple Versus episode 1 on October 1st. The reason for it is we need to get some more assets put together as far as artwork and music and stuff like that. So there's going to be no episode next Monday, but we will be back the following Monday. So we're just taking a 1-week break. Nice and simple.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to get a new theme song, and we've got some artists working on like a new thumbnail and
new podcast logo and everything.
All sorts of good stuff. So we are, but we do need a week kind of to clear our heads, separate from the behind the scenes drama that's occurred in the last couple weeks.
Yes.
And get everything ready so that episode 1 of One Couple Versus can be better than episode 1 of Tennotalk was.
Yes. Yeah. We want to make sure that we keep the quality that you guys have kind of come to know and even further improve it is what we're going to do. So we're really going to try to make sure, that we take that week to make sure everything's ready to go. So we have a nice, easy, swift, smooth, awesome launch of season 2.
And I think we might be rearranging our studio as well. So
yes.
That'll be nice. Because we don't have a couch. Have we talked about that on the stream?
I don't know. Yeah, we don't have a couch right now.
Yeah, we don't have a couch, and I miss having a couch.
Yes, because we're doing One Couple Versus, we're picking up more console games and we're playing more games in general. Besides just Warframe, like we're playing Warframe, but we're also doing other content for other games, and we're kind of like expanding our repertoire of what we play. And that involves console stuff as well right now. So we don't have a couch to sit on to play console games.
Yeah.
Literally, our TVs are right behind us, our desks on the studio. And if you've seen the stream, you've probably seen my TV behind me and Jeremy's behind him. Like, that's how close we are.
Yep.
So we're going to be rearranging, I think, during that week as well and getting everything set up and maybe finding a couch or a love seat or something.
Yeah.
So I can sit my butt down.
We can put a set together.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about this.
Yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff coming in the works. So like I said, we just need that week just to make sure, one, we have all of our assets coming in from the people and they have more time to get everything ready. So, because we recognize that, the person that we're trying to get to see if she can do our artwork for us, she's very busy in the graphic design field with work and everything. And we understand everybody's super busy because we're super busy as well outside of the podcast and everything else like that. So we just want to make sure that everybody has the most time so that we can come back and hit it awesomely and start something cool.
Kind of bouncing off of that, we have had several people, I think 5 or 6, maybe more now, asking where the streams are. They are coming back probably in October under the new name and all of that good stuff. So we will be streaming again. And I'm thinking at least the first stream, we're going to try it on YouTube.
Yeah, we're going to try YouTube. It's going to require us to get a little bit different setup going. And we're going to be doing a lot of research, but I think we are actually going to try and see how YouTube streaming goes.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
Not because we don't want to be a part of Twitch. And if you subscribed on Twitch, I greatly appreciate it. It's just one of those things that if we're going to be focusing mainly on the podcast and YouTube stuff, it might be easier just for all of our stuff to be together. So that way you guys don't have to flip through 20 million different things and get 20 million different notifications on.
And so we don't have to, because we've noticed like we're only ever on Twitch when we're streaming, and we've had comments just go like weeks without being addressed because you guys left a comment on Twitch.
on a video, and then once that video is off, Twitch only saves them for 6 days.
Right, and that's upsetting to me because I guess YouTube saves them indefinitely. Like they just become one of our videos you can just go watch. So I don't know. There's some things that I'm not super excited about with streaming on YouTube, but there seems to be more positives, and we've heard from some of you guys that like the buffering issues are a lot better. Like it just seems to run a little bit better.
Yep. Plus it allows transcoding, which I didn't know much about, but being an avid Twitch user that like watches people on Twitch, the transcoding is really important. So it allows you to change the output of it on your end, and the only way to do that on Twitch is if you're a partner and you have it enabled for your viewers to do it. So it's one of those things like we just want to make sure that we have good quality.
There seems to be a lot of stuff that Twitch sort of locks behind being a partner.
Yeah, which I didn't know. Out of like the several million, billion, however many it really is, of people that are streaming on Twitch, no matter like which category they're on, there's only about 18,000 partners. That's it. Like, it's really hard to get partner, apparently. So
plus the other thing is, while, YouTube streaming service doesn't have like a trending page, I think is what they said. But if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll always know when we're going live. So it can be both easier to find us and maybe harder, but we're never going to make front page of Twitch. I mean, we're not Ninja. I'm realistic about it. We may do well, but we're not going to do front page of Twitch worthy.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things, which that's okay. But like I said, we're going to try it just to see if it's easier. So they are coming back just as we're working through this transition process. They should be coming up. And like I said, they're probably going to be popping up on YouTube. So keep an eye out for Twitter posts and stuff like that. We're going to be linking to the new Twitter starting next week. So that Twitter is going to be taking over the Tennotalk, Twitter and everything else. So that should all be coming soon, including the Instagram and everything. So like I said, we're just going to take a next week off just so we can make sure that we have everything lined up, ready to go. And then we'll hit it back real hard in October, and you'll be getting your Warframe weekly podcast. You'll be getting your second weekly podcast that's going to be going on YouTube right now until we can up our megabyte downloads or uploads for Libsyn for our podcast feed.
Yep.
So you'll get a second episode that's going to be going on YouTube every week. So we're really excited for all of this. It's going to be a lot of good stuff.
And some spoopy games. I think that's going to be the first few streams since it's October. I think we might have Rebecca play through The Evil Within or something.
I'm so scared.
Nah, Evil Within is...
I watched you play Evil Within, and I hid behind my iPad.
But just think like how good you'll feel every single time you hear Claire de Lune.
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
I cried.
That's my song.
I know it is.
That hits me on so many levels. That's literally tattooed on my arm.
Yep.
But let's just go ahead and hop right into it.
So DevStream 116.
DevStream 116. So it seemed like a lot, but there actually wasn't that much as far as information when we were like working on our outline and stuff. But I do appreciate that it actually went like a half an hour longer, all of the poop. So if you didn't watch it, I highly recommend you go watch at least this part because it's really funny. So Reb4 gets really excited about on Fortuna doing the echo lore hunting for one of the new animals, which is this cute little frost armadillo.
Oh, it's adorable.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
So she gets like really obsessed with finding it, and she keeps the dev stream going just so she can find poop, track one down, and conserve it, basically, and rescue it.
I think they went exactly 30 minutes over.
Yep.
And everybody stayed. Like, she kept telling him, like, you guys can leave, but I'm not leaving until I've done this.
Actually, what's so funny is there were more viewers at the end of the stream than there were. I think they ended at like 55,000.
It was pretty great.
All for the poop. The whole chat was screaming, the poop, the poop.
Yep.
So that was really cool. It was cool to see the echo lore in practice. Obviously, I think they did notice some issues with it on the dev build. The main point being the fact that the footprints were the same glow as the flowers, so it was really hard to follow. So I hope that's something that they're going to be changing soon.
Yeah.
To make it a little bit easier to track.
In the background, there was kind of an off-the-cuff comment from, I think it was Steve Sinclair, who was reading in their corporate chat.
Slack.
Yeah, the corporate Slack. And he mentioned that one of the like asset team guys put a GIF of someone setting themselves on fire, something like that. Like, yeah. So they kind of live dev build got a little bit called out for their choice in colors.
So I think that's going to be changing soon, hopefully. But it was really cool to see. I appreciate it.
It'll be interesting, though. I bet the flowers are what changes color, because everything, when you use all the other scanners, that particular orange is always the scan.
Yeah, so I bet it's going to be the flowers, which will be cool. I'd like to see like a variation of color, too.
Yeah. I think yellow would work more than orange. Well, I just say that because, like, I don't want them to go, like, too crazy. Yeah. Because they obviously want it to be that kind of orange autumn color.
That's fair.
So
you can do like greenish.
Green? No.
Depending on how dark you go. Possibly.
Let's go purple. Come on.
Purple?
Just go purple.
That's fair. Purple it is.
It's like the best color. Just go with purple.
Yeah. So we did, as far as Prime and Prime Accesses, Limbo Prime Access is ending on September 25th.
Yep.
So it's ending in about a week or so. So make sure if you want Limbo that you're getting him. Especially if you're wanting to get that Prime Access. Now his relics will still be in the game, so you can still farm him. And get those to drop, but you just won't be able to buy him anymore.
Yep. So if you want the sigil or the Sayandana that he comes with, you'll need to. That'll be the end of those.
Yep, exactly. So make sure you get those if you haven't yet, or if you're wanting them.
Yep.
But as far as primes, we did get the official reveal, and this kind of happened because it got leaked before Prime time. But Chroma Prime is coming.
So Chroma Prime looks good, but did anybody else? I know at least one person, because I think I saw this on the Reddit. I think one person agreed with me. Doesn't he kind of look like Oberon?
I can see the hearken to it, but I think they're different enough.
Different enough for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, but like just kind of like a few times when we were watching it, I was like, "Are they on Oberon? Is that a new Oberon helmet?"
Yeah.
Like, they look similar. Now that's not a bad thing. I'm not griping or anything like that. I think Chroma looks great.
The new Chroma Prime skin looks fantastic. Yeah. It looks so much better than regular Chroma. Oh my god.
Well, regular Chroma I don't like, but I think Chroma Prime may look better than Deluxe Chroma.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I need to see it in game with my colors, all that good stuff. I'm a little bit bummed that there's no rework.
Really?
I don't think he needed much, but there's been a lot of talk about like a couple really simple things that would put him back to quote unquote relevance. I don't think he's a bad frame, but there are people out there that disagree with me on that. And apparently it's a pretty minor tweak, like basically just his buff needs to be a buff, not an aura.
Yeah, I know you and I talked about that on a previous episode.
Yeah.
That he needs to be like Rhino's stuff, where you get close enough to him, he does the skill, and then you can run away and get it instead of having to stay within proximity of Chroma to keep it.
But you never know. Maybe they weren't ready to show off the rework. Maybe there is one,
or that maybe that's going to be an augment mod.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Does he have 4 already?
I have no idea, but it could.
I don't know.
I
know he has some for sure, but
yeah, most definitely.
But yeah, he's coming with Graham Prime, which is a great sword. Looks great. Don't know what it does, but
it looks good.
I've seen people mention it has a gimmick, but I haven't seen anyone talk about the gimmick.
Yeah, I don't have Graham at all. I don't think I've ever used Graham.
No, I thought it looked dumb, and Daniel, my brother, may have tried it and said it was garbage, so I never grabbed it.
Yep.
And then Rubico Prime, that's cool.
It's a second sniper.
I made a ridiculous amount of plat off of an old Rubico Riven I had, so that was
unrolled too.
Yep, I'd never rolled it. Just it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. Like it was all positive traits, but yeah.
That's so funny.
I couldn't believe it. It was so great.
Yeah, it was one of those things, like we watched the dev stream and then he happened to just open up Warframe and we were looking at Rivens because, we got that Riven drop from watching the dev stream. So we're looking at him and he noticed that he had a Rubico one. So he asked the Discord how much it would sell for and then ended up posting it in trade chat and made a pretty good amount of plat off of it.
I got a little bit less than twice what I was told to sell it for, or what I was told like the low end goes for.
Yeah.
So
which is awesome.
I'm not complaining. Yeah. Speaking of Rivens, what rifle Riven did you get?
I ended up getting the Bolter Riven out of it.
I'm actually jealous.
Yep. I ended up rolling a couple of them, and I got the Bolter. I got the Nakana. I have a Nakana Riven now. And then I don't remember the other one. It's a weird, it's the link for a Tsar, a Plague Link.
Oh, yeah,
for the Tsar weapons. Yep. Which, sadly enough, I mean, you have to wait for the Plague Star event to come back to try to get it. But the Riven that I got unrolled is actually really good.
And I think the Plague ones are supposed to be the better ones.
Yep. So, yeah. So I might hold on to it. I might try to sell it. We'll see.
I got a Ceranos one. I'm excited.
I know you got a Ceranos out of it, man. Oh, so good. I love the Ceranos. You need to get the Radka Ceranos now to put on it.
I got Ceranos Prime.
That's fair. You do have the Prime version.
I do need to get the bow, though. I finally broke down, and I spent all of my red veil standing, all of it, to get the dagger.
Yup.
For the Nezha Deluxe skin, which I did pick up that.
Yep, I have that now too. And it is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my God, I love it in game. It's so good.
Have you tried the Sindana on yet?
Yes, I have the Sindana on.
So
it fits perfectly with that back.
It does. I like it.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh, speaking of Sindana, I know we're getting sidetracked, everybody. I'm sorry. But speaking of Sindanas, I found the Sindana that looks fantastic on the Revenant.
What is it?
Korra's Sindana.
No way.
It looks great on him.
Interesting.
Also, fun fact, because I bought it last night. I built all of Korra. We bought her, but I didn't buy the bundle.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I hadn't had this Sindana, so I finally got it since I had the extra Rubico money lying around. Mm-hmm. And it looks great on Octavia too.
Interesting.
And Mirage, because Octavia, Mirage, I bet it looks good on Saren. They all have booties, and that causes the back end of some Sindanas to flip out. Mm-hmm. Well, Korra's Sindana is built to flip out that way because she's got those spikes and her like that mini skirt looking thing on her butt.
Yeah.
So it's built to curve around that. So it looks great on Octavia.
Huh.
And of course, if something works for Octavia, I'm all over it. So
touche. That works. That is really interesting. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I don't know. I haven't been doing a lot of fashion framing lately. Because I kind of like where everybody's at, and I don't know, maybe I just need a new color palette, or I just need something to break it up a little bit.
I need Ember Tennogen, the royal one.
Oh yes. That's
my next in-game purchase.
Oh, it's so pretty. So they also announced a couple other stuff. So speaking of fashion, they showed off the new operator hairstyles. Actually in game this time, which is a little bit more, and there's more hairstyles. They kind of took the original ones that they started showing people that they were working on, and then the guy that's working on it at DE got really excited and then just kind of created more. So I'm super excited. They didn't give a release date, but they said they were going to get them out by Christmas. Yep. So I don't know, they look kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought so. There was one that
looked like a penis.
It looked like a penis. It was like braided. It was like a braided mohawk with two little like buns for pigtails on the back of the head. I'm like, that just looks like
that's a penis.
It's a penis. Yeah.
Sorry, DE, you made a penis.
That's some phallic hair.
Yep. They also showed off some really cool art. It was a really rough idea that was literally finished the morning of the dev stream, but it was for a new deluxe skin coming out for Equinox.
So it's a samurai angel, and honestly,
a night assassin.
I know I've said this a few times lately, but this, like, just based on this simple artwork, this could be the best deluxe skin in the game.
Oh my goodness, yes. It looks fantastic. Just the style.
So the biggest Equinox fan I know is my brother, and we were talking about this last night, and we came to an agreement. They could do pretty much whatever they want. The most important thing that they're changing about this is they're taking away the arm flaps.
Yes.
Because, wow, she needs to not have those.
I hate the arm flaps.
I hate them.
They're so hard to color correctly.
And they clip through everything.
Yep.
So if and when this one comes out, it'll be a day one purchase for me. And then I will actually play more Equinox. Plus, this one, they've color coded it with like green, white, a really dark pink, and a lighter pink. Mm-hmm. So you can see where the colors line up.
Yes.
And she's going to be great. She's actually going to be really easy to color coordinate.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think so. I think this is probably, like you said, I think from concept so far, I'm just so excited to see what it looks like rendered. Because I think this is seriously going to be one of the best deluxes out there. It's just so different and so cool.
Yeah. I love, like, the Samurai Angel in the day version, she has almost like a flower motif on her arms. Like they look like, is it lilies? Is that what I'm thinking? No, that's not what I'm thinking of.
I am really bad with the names of flowers. So if somebody knows the name of flower, please let us know what it is. But it's gorgeous.
And then the demon ninja has these like almost like nidus-like holes on her chest. And man, I love this thing. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's really gorgeous. And I'm very excited for it.
Okay, here's what it is though. It looks more natural. Like suddenly like this lineup makes sense for why she's a new Loka frame. Like,
I could see that.
This has more of a like, you know, Oberon and Titania, like they sort of feel more natural. Zephyr feels more natural. And then, you know, now Equinox, like this sort of ties her into that. Maybe.
Into like the new Loka area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. So I'm really excited for the Equinox Deluxe skin, but I'm also withholding my judgment a little bit because I remember when we saw the artwork for the Neza Deluxe and I was like, man, that skin is dumb. And now it's probably one of my favorites because it dyes so well and the textures are so great in game. So I definitely want to I'm so excited for it, but I'm kind of tempering it and I'm like, all right, DE, now work your magic. Yeah. Make this look really good.
Now I will say Neza and Valbon both look much better in game than they did on paper. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that has to do, like you said, with the texturing and that sort of stuff. So they're 3 for 3 in a row for me. But I did not forget that before Nidus Deluxe was Inaris Deluxe. And that one did not go over very well because they chose to use that matte rubbery texture on way too much of his body.
Yes, he looks like a latex suit. Yeah,
they did go back and fix that. It looks fantastic. I did pick it up. You know that I've had it for a long time, but yeah. So, and then there's the infamous Ember Deluxe. A lot of people hate it because it's so different from the artwork.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't want to get too attached to this. That's why I said, like, the main takeaway, if DE is listening to this or anyone who talks to their artists, the main takeaway is Equinox does not have arm flaps.
Yes.
As long as they stay with that, I will pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. Just because I'm tired of the arm flaps.
I'm so tired.
I don't like looking like a ribbon dancer. They also announced and showed, and they were like, spoiler mode, but operators will now have an ABC outfit slot. And that is exciting.
Yep. And they did confirm that it will not include face and hair.
Yes, because those are like your face and your hair is what makes your operator your operator. This will just be for the outfits. So, shirts, gloves, pants, boots, colors. Any attachments, any eyewear, headwear, stuff like that.
I'm looking forward to it. That's cool.
I am too. I realized that I don't change the way my operator looks very often. I found a look that I like, and I just kind of kept with it, and that's just me.
I probably won't, because I'm still rocking the 2B Yorha character.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to go anywhere from that. But,
yeah.
But it's cool. Like, I know a lot of people really into fashion framing their Tenno, so this would be cool.
Yeah, I definitely think it has a place. For me, like I just said, I kind of have my look. And I don't know if I'm going to change it.
What it'll probably be for me is if you can change the suit energy color, then I'll probably have 3 identical loadouts with 3 different energy colors for the suit. So when I do the dash, it changes the energy color.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Because I forgot that those were all tied to your energy color.
Yeah, the suit energy is like when you use your dash and stuff, that changes what color your dash is. Okay. So, yeah, so I'll use it for that, definitely. Mm-hmm. But other than that, because what I'll do, I'm such a nerd, is I'll pick like 3 energy colors so that the energy colors line up with the frame I'm playing.
You nerd. You are such a nerd. Yep. I love it. So PS4 players will be really happy about this one. There is a dynamic PS4 theme coming that's Fortuna themed. That's going to have the We All Lift song without the lyrics.
And a really cool mix of it. It almost sounds like 16-bit music.
Yeah.
Almost. Not quite, but almost. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. One, because the best thing about this is, like the dynamic ones, usually you can, if you've looked in the PS4 theme stuff, you can find free ones. And then like the really cool ones are anywhere from like $1 to like $6. This one's going to be free.
Yep.
They are releasing a free dynamic theme with the We All Lift remix. And I'm so excited.
If you're on top of it, you can catch some good free ones. Like Nier Automata had a good one. 2 that were free. Witcher had a few that were really good that were free. I've been rocking. Yeah.
I still have the Witcher one on.
Yep. I've been rocking it since Witcher 3 came out.
Yeah, so have I.
That music.
Well, it's just because I don't have another one that I want right now. And I really want this Fortuna one. And you could hear off screen one of the guys behind the cameras and stuff that wasn't a part of the cast on the couch was saying that they were going to go back through and create custom icons of everything too.
Nice.
So super excited for that because one, I love the themes because I love the background, especially the dynamic ones that shift. I love the backgrounds. I love the music that usually comes with them and stuff. But I really like seeing the icons because the icons are really cool for a lot of those themes. I mean, that's why I like The Witcher. The Witcher does change the icon a little bit. And I think it's nice. Yeah,
back in like the PlayStation 3, I think I had one that I actually bought, and I want to say it was Silent Hill themed. And it was really creepy, but it turned all of your icons into like this really gross rust.
Yes, I remember that one.
Yeah, so and I've been thinking for like years, like they need to move that one to the PS4 because PS4 has that menu that's above the other menu. Mm-hmm. So when you go up to that one, it turns into like the fog overworld, and when you drop to the other one, it turns into the rusty hell overworld. Oh, I mean, that'd be so cool.
That would be so cool. Man, I love the PS4 themes. I remember probably about like 3 or 4 months ago, I was sitting on the couch when we still had one, going through my PS4, like looking for a new theme, and I couldn't find anything. So I went back to the Witcher 3 one. And I just want a new theme because it's something so little. But if you're on your PS4 a lot or you have that screen open a lot, it's just really nice besides the boring color change with no music. Ugh, so boring.
So there was a really huge thing they showed off. I thought this was the best part. They showed off they were going into the factories on Orb Vallis.
Yes.
And they showed off all the new Corpus tile sets and asset stuff.
And they showed a spoiler.
Yeah.
Reb Ford walked right into it, and now I am so intrigued.
Yep.
So
I haven't gone to look and see if, like, I'm sure there's a Reddit thread out there of people tearing it apart.
Yeah. So for those of you that didn't watch, I'm just going to tell you what it is so you can think about it. So Reb 4 was walking around one of the laboratories, and this was the research facility on the map, and all of the names are like placeholder right now, so I don't know if that's what it's going to be called later. But right now it's called the research facility, and she was going inside of it, and it has this really cool statue, and she was running around, and she goes into this room where there's these like this examination table and these like camera drones, and they are like zooming in and like looking at what's on the table, and Reb 4 goes up and looks at it, and they're sentients.
Yep.
They are fucking sentients on the table on Orb Vallis.
Being experimented
being researched and experimented on and looked into, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Gonna go ahead and need some answers.
Yeah, please, Space Mom. Like, you can't drop that little spoiler ball and then just run away.
Yep.
Because Steve started screaming spoilers, and she ran out of the room. And I was like, what? What did I just see? And I think Jeremy and I looked at each other like,
yeah, we both like gave one of those knowing looks like, is that what I think I just saw?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that was huge. But the tile sets are freaking gorgeous. And they're really interesting too. Like, they have metal up. There was one where you interact with a button and this like laser thing happens. Yeah, and they were joking about everybody touching the button.
Yeah, there was some really good stuff going on. I thought they also showed, kind of in an intermission to this part, they showed the Gas City side-by-side screenshots.
Yes. Or no, those were all on Saturn. No, Jupiter. Those were all Jupiter maps, I think.
Well, it's Gas City.
Yeah.
It's that tile set. But they showed the side-by-sides, and those looked fantastic.
Oh, It looks like a completely different game. Like,
yeah,
it brings up the quality of not only the textures, but really just opens everything up. Like, it's insane, the changes that are coming.
Yeah, and he mentioned too, like, new Corpus ship interiors are in the works. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be coming soon or if they're just going to take the textures and stuff that they've been doing for Orb Valis and just paint them on those old maps. Like, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do there, but the coolest thing is, like, between Orb Valis Corpus stuff and the new Gas City, you can see, like, the Corpus tile sets are getting a new personality. Like, the Corpus are sort of coming into their own in a way. Like, because admittedly, a lot of the Corpus tile sets in the current game look good, but they are a little generic spaceship interior.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're giving it, like, because they have such an interesting art style and the Grenier stuff is so weird that the Corpus stuff, like, it just kind of seemed a little bland. Mm-hmm. So the new Corpus stuff is so cool. Like, I'm really looking forward to it being in the game.
Yeah, and I'm super excited because, like Jeremy said, because they're putting all this Orb Valis stuff together and they're redoing a lot of the textures and they're kind of rebuilding the Corpus and, like, what they're doing. And now as we're, like, delving a little bit more into them, that, you know, that's going to be reflected outside of Venus and Orb Valis as well. And I think that's so cool that they're not just like, hey, this is the new shiny thing. They're actually going back and re-implementing this type of stuff all throughout the game to bring the whole game up instead of just saying the new expansion is better.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot in a lot of games, like the texture qualities, not to throw WoW under the bus, but you look at the world when you're running around in, like, the level 10 zones in WoW and then the level 110 zones in WoW, and they look like a completely different game.
Yeah. As somebody who, talking about you here, didn't play WoW until recently, it has been a chore to get you caught up because the zones suck.
They do suck.
I mean,
I can say that.
They suck. I'll be completely blunt about it. It's fine. Like, you know, you go to, you know, Elwyn Forest and you're like, the fuck is this? Like, I saw the screenshots from Battle for Azeroth. This is not the game I
know,
paid
right?
for.
This is not the game I bought, and I didn't want to use my level booster.
So it's cool that, you know, they're, like, being really proactive about, you know, going back and saying, you know, hey, this new Corpus stuff, we're going to go put it on all the old maps. Or, you know, just this Gas City rework just kind of came out of nowhere, and they really didn't have to do it, but here we go.
Yeah.
So,
and I also like that. I know we talked about it before about that gear wheel, the infinite spiral thing. We actually got to see it in progress, and that thing is really cool. Now, it's not infinite.
Yeah, she called it infinite and was corrected.
Yeah. It did seem like it only had, like, 2 rotations on it because she was able to get back to where she was. But it was really nice the way it worked, and it worked really fluidly. Plus, there was, like, a separate one to tab over for emotes as well.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to, like, go open that up and click the emote. You could, like, just trigger over or tab over to the other one, and that's an emote wheel, which means you get more emotes, which makes me really happy because I like emoting in game.
Yeah. I mean, I just do the one pendulum dance, but, you know, they're all good.
I do the butt wiggle, and I do the bowing, and I do the waving, and I do the show your butt dance. And I do. There's a lot that I like to do.
I love the breakdancing dances.
Yes.
I wish they didn't end. You just go through it one time.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I wish, like, you know, I want to be obnoxious and breakdance for the entire time I'm waiting.
Oh my god, no, you know what I really want to do now?
What's that?
I want to go fight Corrupted Vor when he does this monologue, and I want to breakdance on his corpse.
Breakdance on his corpse.
God, I was just complaining about Vor the other day because when I was doing those Rivens, or no, I wasn't doing Rivens, I was doing Samaris stuff, and I had to get Corrupted Ancient Healers, right? So I went to the Void, and I went to Mott to do it. And I was by myself, solo on Avara, so it was super stealthy. And the fucking stalker came after me, and then Vor showed up, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I was getting so pissed. Ugh. I hate it. I hate Vor. I hate his monologue. Someone in the Discord posted the monologue the other day, and it almost got me. I almost read it, and then I saw the first part, and I'm like, nope, I am not reading this, and I put an angry emote reaction.
it was too obvious. It was a bunch of like people talking in really short answers, and then this massive paragraph. I was like, "Oh, you almost got me, but
I know.
you didn't.
You didn't get me this time." Yeah, that's been coming like such like a little like kind of like little hidden meme thing.
I'm gonna start doing it one line at a time, so you guys have to sit through me spamming the Discord like 30 times as I go through line by line.
Oh God, I would start deleting those messages immediately. And the last thing they showed, and this is something that I don't want to touch too much on because they didn't give us a lot of information, but Melee 3.0 is getting delayed again. Not that they gave us a release date, but it's kind of getting completely reworked a little bit because of the quick swap. So essentially, instead of your E, like just doing a quick melee, it's going to be a quick swap to melee, and then you can swap back out of it. So they're basically shortening all of the animations, and the way they showed it was really cool. Like, you do a shoot with a gun, you jump up into the air, you shoot them again, or like you hit them with a sword or something. Say you have a sword, like the Nakana. You hit them with the Nakana, you double jump up, you shoot them, and then you do a ground slam with your melee. All within the space of like a second.
So I'm kind of torn. I loved this.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I think it's a really good change. And I like that basically they're making quick melee relevant because it's kind of not right now.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing in my opinion. But I'm starting to get a little impatient.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are getting impatient.
Because I want to say, hey, take your time, make it good. You know, if you need a few extra months to make it good, to make it better, then take it. Don't release a crappy Melee 3.0. So then, the day of launch, everybody's like, well, where's Melee 4? I get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're like, it's coming. And then now look at these new features. This may delay it a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, please. Like, I kind of like part of me almost wishes, and I know people are free to disagree with this, I almost wish they hadn't teased anything yet.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people, and then we're actually going to get to this with the burnout talk, where once you have something to look forward to, it almost tarnishes what you have.
Yep.
So the Melee now just feels boring because I've seen some of this great stuff that's coming. And that's just kind of every time they show off something else that's really nice, I'm like, this is great, but I'm going to go play Divinity while I wait. You know, like it's getting it. I don't want to be a negative Nancy or whatever, but it is getting a little bit tedious.
Yeah. Message me when it goes live type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand. Which is a perfect segue kind of into our burnout discussion. So we've been asking for the last couple episodes for you guys to send us your thoughts on burnout, whether it was Warframe specifically, what caused it for you, what you do to kind of get through it or recover from it, and just ways to prevent it, or what happens when you burn out of any game or Warframe specifically, especially waiting for new content. So we've taken all the responses, we've kind of broken them down. We're just kind of highlight them as they come up as we're talking about this. So the best part to start is for those that you don't know, or maybe you haven't been gaming long enough or had a live game like this that's getting constant updates. So what causes burnout? So burnout is basically when you literally just get tired of playing a game, in the sense of burnout with a game. You don't want to log in. Every single time you think about playing it, you're just like, ugh, I don't want to play it right now. You log in, you find yourself not doing anything. You're just kind of AFKing around. You're just not happy. That's essentially basically what burnout is. So what we've found is the biggest thing from our experience, because Jeremy and I have burned out on a lot of games, and that's probably because we haven't been preventing it or trying to recover from it. We just kind of hit games really hard and then burn out.
Yeah, I'm a serious offender of the first thing that she's about to go over.
So the first major, probably the biggest thing that'll cause burnout is overplaying. Yeah. So you can hear a lot of jokes about this, about people that no life games. It can be anywhere from no lifing it to it's the only game that you're playing every single day when you get off work. You get off work at like 5 o'clock, you get home, you make dinner, you hug the kids, kiss the wife, sit down and play. And that's all you do is you play it for 4 or 5 hours and then you go to bed. And then the next day it's the exact same thing. Or you have a day off and you spend the whole day playing it. 13-hour game days, back to back to back.
Yep.
So overplaying is probably the biggest cause of burnout in general. And I know Jeremy and I have had this a lot with a lot of games.
Yep.
The first big one that both of us together probably burned out was Guild Wars 2. We burned out and we went and played WoW for a little bit and then came back. We burned out of WildStar. We've burned out of Final Fantasy. And we've kind of burned out of Warframe. For us, a lot of it came from streaming too.
Yeah, I was gonna add a bullet point to your list here that I think content creation can lead to it because it is a job, content creation. So at a certain point, you look down and you're like, I don't really feel like playing Warframe today, but we have a podcast to record on Monday, so I need something to talk about.
Yeah.
So you have to get on, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not whining here. I know it is a choice that we made to do this, but it's especially relevant. I think that's kind of maybe I'm getting too off topic, but that's kind of what spurred the whole idea of One Couple Verses is we're getting a little burned out on Warframe, and that sucks. So what if we were to broaden our horizons so it wasn't, we can still do the Warframe every week, but there's other things to help break up and help, recover a little bit.
Yeah, and so. it was basically a lot of that was getting off the topic here. A lot of the One Couple Verses came from we love doing the podcast and we love Warframe, but we didn't want it to be our only game, and we realized we were starting to get burnt out about playing it 4 or 5 days a week plus doing the podcast and stuff, and we didn't want to give up anything because we love doing this podcast and we love making content, and like this is a passion of ours, but we didn't want to burn out of Warframe.
Right.
So we're like, how can we kind of edge this a little bit and not burn out, and what can we do where we don't feel guilty but we can still do what we love? So that's kind of a little behind the scenes a little bit about this. Another thing that causes burnout is running out of things to do. This is really big in games that have updates, especially games as a service, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Games that get constant updates, expansion packs, stuff like that. You see this a lot in MMOs. WoW is probably one of the biggest proprietors of this.
Guild Wars 2,
yeah. The people that have done everything in the game that the game has to offer, they have everything that they want. They don't need anything. They don't need to work towards anything. And they just run out of stuff to do. So they're logging in and doing the same stuff every day.
Yeah, and this is the one that I kind of take issue with some types of players where, like the new expansion comes out and they take 3 days off work so they get a 5-day weekend and they finish it.
Yeah.
And then the following week they're like, well, that was fun, but now 2 years till the next expansion pack. I'm like, yeah, but didn't you kind of do that to yourself? Like, that's not really the dev's fault.
Yeah, they overplayed it and then they ran out of stuff to do and then they bounced right back off again.
And this is really bad. It is bad in WoW, but I think it's actually worse in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yep.
Because the way that game's updates are structured, you know exactly what you're getting and exactly when you're getting it.
Yep.
So people will cannonball an entire update in a day or two. And then they've got, 3 months before.
Then they unsub and sub back up for the next update.
Yeah. And, in their defense, that's exactly what the game's director wants you to do. Yoshi is very adamant that if, you don't want to play his game right now, don't play his game right now. It'll be here when you get back. And
yep.
He's very open about that. And that's commendable. I really do appreciate that. But at the same time, it does sort of breed a little bit of a toxic community when people start complaining. Like, they're like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into Final Fantasy XIV. Is it good? And then those people, because they aren't playing right now, because they're done with stuff, they're like, yeah, it's good, but you're going to run out of stuff to do. I'm like, well, you're really not the person that should be giving that advice.
Yeah, which is also like preemptively putting that mindset into their head. And the other part that kind of piggybacks right off that is repetition. So doing the same thing over and over and over again. Now, in Warframe specifically, it does get a little bit of a pass because even if you're doing the same missions, the tile sets are randomly generated, which is really nice. It does kind of help alleviate that. So you're not to throw Destiny under the bus. You're not running the exact same strike every single time where you know all the turns, you know the map, blah, blah, blah. Like it does update it a little bit. But as far as in Warframe specifically, repetition could be like what we've done. Grind Hydron for 6 hours a day.
Yeah, I think
for 4 days. 4 days a week.
A combination of this and overplaying both bred out of streaming, because we would get on stream and be like, what do we want to do tonight? Oh, I don't know. I have a weapon I need to grind for MR. And we're like, okay, cool. And then we'd grind Hydron all 3 hours we were streaming that night. And it was like, oh, that was a mistake. But we didn't realize how bad of a mistake it was till we were like, I don't want to stream tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yep.
We're just going to go to a COD or Hydron. And like, oh,
yep.
What have we done?
Yep. So those are the biggest, at least from what we saw, the biggest proprietors of burnout is just overplaying it and running out of stuff to do and really just doing repetition, doing the same thing every single day. And you get tired of it, you know? It does breed complacency, and in this case, it does lead to burnout, especially in video games. So as you're playing, there are what we found as far as like looking at these responses, and what Jeremy and I have done personally is there are ways that you can try to prevent it. Now, sometimes burnout is inevitable. You will get tired of games, especially if it's so long between updates, or you really have experienced all the content and you've done everything. There's nothing wrong with burning out, but there are ways to prevent it as you're playing a game. And the biggest one is take breaks from playing, and Jeremy and I have been really pushing ourselves with this lately. If we log into any game and we find ourselves just sitting on a screen for like more than 5 minutes, we're like, all right, we need to log out, or we need to close this game and we need to go do something else.
We have a rule in this house that got started in WoW and Guild Wars, but it also WildStar and even Warframe, is if you're just running around a capital city, you need to log out. And we monitor each other. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm just hanging out in Divinity's Reach. How long have you been there? I don't know, 20 minutes. Okay, you need to close the game for a little bit.
Yeah, close the game. Yeah, because sitting there is just breeding that I don't have anything to do, and I'm just in it because I feel like I need to play the game.
Yeah, because, and I know we're talking about a lot of games, but I think this is appropriate place to do that. But one of the biggest problems I have every time I try to go back to Warcraft is I think about all the time I just AFK'd in Orgrimmar.
Yep.
And that sucked, and that wasn't fun at all. But while it is a result of burnout, when you're looking at going back into the game, those are the most recent memories you have, and you're like, I don't really want to go play because there's nothing to do, because I just sit in Orgrimmar all the time. Like, I am the last person on this planet that should say they don't have anything to do in WoW, because I've been playing since 2005 and I've never finished the content that was relevant at the time.
Yep.
I'm like 4 expansions behind. The only reason I did anything with Legion is because Battle for Azeroth came with a 110 boost, so I could go back and do the Legion content.
Yeah.
So
that's literally
it's the only reason. So, but in my head, like, I keep bouncing off the game because I don't have anything to do.
Yeah, and we've also, like, really, I know Jeremy said we've cracked down on this. We even cracked down it in Warframe. It's how long have you been sitting in your orbiter?
Yep.
Or how long have you been staring at Fashion Frame?
How many laps did you make between navigation and your arsenal?
Yep. Yeah. And we do that because it's a good way to prevent it, because the last thing we want to do is just sit around in the game. Now, if we're actually like talking to people, that's fine.
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
That's different. But if we're just sitting there and we have the game open, but we're not really paying attention to it, and we're like looking at listening to a YouTube video or something, we're not really playing the game.
Right.
And that can breed that type of, overplaying mentality that could lead to that burnout. The other one is to change up what you're doing in game. For Warframe specifically, I know we talked about repetition. We were grinding Hydron for hours and days at a time. So change up what you're doing. If you have a weapon to level up, is there any real reason why you need to get it leveled within 2 runs of Hydron? Or do you want to go and just like screw around and do relic missions with it? Or, level it up the hard way?
Yeah, actually,
stuff like that.
I'm doing this right now. I put a Forma on Nezha.
Mm-hmm.
And I grabbed the Radka Dark Dagger, and I put a Forma on my Cernos, and those are the only 3 things I'm taking with me, and I'm just running random missions on like the lower half of the solar system.
Yeah.
And it takes forever. I mean, I've run like 7 missions and my dagger's only like level 7, but it's been fun. It's almost like starting over.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been enjoyable. And, you don't do it for long, as the next bullet point will state. But, it's better than getting it. I think it's better than getting it completely done in 2 runs of Hydron, because then you're back to, oh, well, I'm done.
Yeah, what do I do next?
Yeah, what's next?
And this dovetails great into another way to prevent it, which is to set realistic and achievable goals. So specifically, and thinking about just Warframe with this one, for the example. So in Warframe, a lot of people that have goals of, I want to be MR 25, I want to be max MR, and be one of those elite people that have made it all the way to 25. And that takes a really long time. And, that's not readily achievable unless you overplay the game and you really just no life it, which can cause burnout because you're MR grinding constantly. You're trying to squeeze every little bit out of the MR for every single weapon. And for some people that could be fun, but at the end of the day, once you're to MR 25, what else are you going to do? Because you've already leveled everything and you've already done, quote, everything. So it's an achievable goal, but it's not realistic. So an achievable goal could be something like, I want to, finish all of Saturn because I just unlocked enough missions to get across to go to the next junction and get off Saturn. So let me go and actually do all of this. Or I want to, get this armor set that comes from X achievement or something like that. Or I want to get
conclave stuff. Yeah,
like the conclave stuff has really cool armor sets and really cool weapon stuff. So I'm going to, play Lunera to get this. Or I'm going to do syndicate missions and get my syndicate rank up so I can get this one thing. Or I want to do Samaris stuff so I can get the new Frame Fighter thing.
I want to solo the Terrorist.
Yeah, I want to solo.
That's my next goal.
Yeah, I want to solo the Terrorist. So I'm going to run Terrorist stuff and I'm going to work on soloing it. So there's smaller bite-sized goals that ultimately can allow you to change up what you're doing in the game. Because if you set one very long goal, there's nothing wrong with setting long goals. I would love to be MR 25. I'm MR 16. And it's probably going to take me a long ass time to get to MR 25. And I'm okay with that. It's still a goal of mine. I'd love to get to MR 25, but it's not my focus.
Right.
I'll get there when I get there, because if I know for a fact for myself, if I try to get there and I'm grinding every single weapon possible and I'm getting every single prime weapon and everything, I will bounce off the game.
The moment I hit MR 25, I'll be gone for 6 months to a year.
Yep. I'll be like, all right.
If I were to no life it, I mean, I'd bounce off it hard. And it'd be really obvious because the only input I would do on the podcast would be when I'm reading the news.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. So setting realistic goals, and not even just realistic, but also achievable stuff. Look at what you can do within, a couple days of playing.
Yeah, I would say short-term goals. Because, I mean, if it's a long-term goal, MR 25, 100% achievable.
Oh, yeah.
We'll all get there eventually.
Oh, yeah, especially as you try new stuff. Unless you're a curmudgeon and you got Volt and you got the Bratton and, the Kunai,
and
finally.
You were like, that's it, I'm done.
And you're like, all right, that's it. That's what I'm going to level. That's the rest of my stuff. And, like, the bow staff. Then more power to you, dude. Rock it. But, eventually you will get up in MR.
2 hour survival using the MK1 Bratton. There
Ooh.
You go. Do it.
I wonder, can we get the MK stuff back?
Yeah, you just go buy it for credits.
Oh my god, that's like super tempting. Load out in all MK1 stuff and go try to do a mod. See how long you can last?
Yeah, just have a running counter, not like set a goal, but just literally like, how when you could even do it like just go in planning to fail the mission and just be like, how long can we make it before we run out of revives?
Yeah.
With the MK1 stuff.
Or run out of air supply.
Yeah, it would feel like a waste. So anyone who wants to come do this, just know, like, we are going to fail the mission.
Yeah, we are going to, it will be a failure. We will not
That might be a fun video.
I was just thinking that would be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, we might do that.
Okay, keep an eye on your inbox. We might be inviting some of you to this.
Yeah, we might be trying to get a 4-stack to do the MK1 challenge.
It might be a fucking disaster.
Oh my god, yes, but it would be.
But it'll be fun.
Yep. So stuff like that, like something small, stupid. Change up what you're doing, make something fun. So like that makes me excited to play Warframe. You know,
I
'cause I think it's kind of fun. It's stupid, but it's awesome.
Fun, weird, personal challenges. Like we had one. We're gonna have a whole day where the only way we're gonna run missions where you can only damage stuff by bullet jumping.
Oh my god, yes.
Air kicking, the slide kick in the air.
Yes.
Like we're gonna do an exterminate mission, and we're not allowed to use our weapons.
Yeah, because you can get the mods that let you do that, the damage.
And we've talked about and actually had surprising amounts of trouble doing like an exterminate without any alerts.
Yeah, stealth kill only exterminates. It's actually really hard. Especially when you're on non-invisible frames.
Yeah, that was the caveat. I could nail that on Octavia, you on Ivara, like no problem.
Yeah.
Or Equinox with the sleep, like no problem.
Yeah,
but
easy.
Volt
Atlas.
Volt and Atlas with a bow and arrow, and because you get a silent weapon, but you can't set off any alarms. It's like that gets a little tricky.
It does.
Yeah, especially that's what makes it fun though is. You don't do it on like Earth because that's too easy. They can't set off alarms on Earth.
Yeah, you gotta do it somewhere challenging.
Go to Eris and
and that's something that we do to prevent it. We've done it in really a lot of the games. In Guild Wars 2, we started seeing how far we could duo dungeons.
Yeah,
which was fun.
That was
hard.
fun. That was stressful, but it was fun.
I
want to try that
stressful.
again now that the new classes are out.
Yes, the new specializations.
Because I think the new Guardian spec would make soloing dungeons much easier.
Yeah, but we've always done stuff like that, like just stupid stuff. Yeah. Not even stupid, but just like self-challenging stuff to kind of change it up and to break off from the norm. Especially in a game like Final Fantasy XIV, where literally it was let's queue for a dungeon. Because that's all you did in the game was just dungeon after dungeon after dungeon after dungeon to grind up currency, to run your roulettes, to get this, to get that. It was really repetitive when you're running the same dungeon 20 million times. So we'd break it up, and I think at one point we were doing hunts, and we were trying to see how quickly two of us could take down hunts, S-rank hunts and stuff like that, and like stupidly powerful, and see how quickly we could die.
I think everybody out there should try Final Fantasy XIV because the story is phenomenal, but it is a tough game to tell people who are looking to like really stick with a game. That's kind of a tough one to recommend.
Yeah.
Because it does get repetitive. Yep.
But if it's your type of game, then more power to you. It's a really great game, and I'm honestly thinking about going back for at least a month. Yeah. Sub up for a month and play it.
Every time I play the story, like I just get so caught up in it. Like the characters, don't base it on a Realm Reborn, but Heaven's Word and Stormblood, like those, like
they were good.
Characters are phenomenal.
They were really good. So we'll actually, this kind of segues perfect about talking about us kind of going back to the games we've burned out before. So Jeremy's kind of went in a little bit because he's been the one that's kind of bouncing into other games and kind of going back to the games that we have burnt out before. So ways to recover from burnout. So this is after you've burned out from a game, you've taken your break, but you kind of feel like playing it, but you burnt out on it last time. Maybe you don't have stuff to do, stuff like that. So how do you come back to it?
So my first bullet point on this is to not feel guilty for not playing. I think that holds especially true for subscription games and for games with login rewards.
Yep.
ESO, Guild Wars 2, Warframe have they do it in different ways. Guild
Black
Wars
Desert
2
had it too.
Yeah, a lot of them have like a calendar, and Guild Wars 2, its calendar is just login days, but ESO, it's actually the calendar of the month. And so if it resets every month, so you actually, if you don't play enough, you miss out on the good rewards in ESO. Warframe has, as divisive as this might be, it has login days. So if you miss a day, you missed that day, and that keeps putting off how far away you are from certain milestones.
Yep.
But if you're burned out, you can't feel guilty for not playing. You have to separate from the game. I think that's my first one, is separate entirely for a short time. When this happens to me, and this, like the last 2 weeks, I've been pretty non-existent in Warframe. I'll log in if someone needs an invite. I logged in to try out some changes for the Revenant and Nezha Deluxe, and this past weekend I actually played quite a bit. But prior to that, I just forced myself to separate from the game for a little bit to do other things. The biggest things, play other games. I think almost everybody who wrote in said play other games. For me, it's been Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah.
I think I've put like 100 hours into it in the last month or so.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous. But the biggest thing is, like, I would never play Destiny if I was burned out on Warframe. Because it's almost, don't hate me, put the pitchforks away, it's almost the same game.
Yep, it's just first person versus third.
Yeah. And, there's some very real differences, but if you boil it down to, I'm burned out on Warframe, so I'm going to play another space-themed sci-fi shooter that focuses on loot acquisition, like, you're pretty much, the mechanics may be different, but it's going to feel very similar.
Yeah, break completely.
So, I've been playing Divinity. I just reinstalled Lord of the Rings Online, because those are not even close to similar. They're not stepping on Warframe in any way. And what that means is when you get to like where I've been this weekend, where Warframe does start to sound good, you can get back into it and it doesn't feel like the thing you've been doing for a little while. And that's been nice. Yeah,
I completely agree. I know I had to do a full wipe of my computer.
Yeah.
So I basically did a complete takedown of everything and clean installed my entire computer. So I've been kind of downloading games again. And I noticed that the games that I've downloaded are stuff like I re-downloaded Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I downloaded Divinity Original Sin 2. I downloaded Warframe, obviously, Guild Wars 2, Fortnite, My Time in Portia. Like the most random games ever that are completely different from Warframe. But really, so it kind of opens that up a little bit, changes it around. So it's not the same game, essentially.
And then, and this is, of course, just my opinion. Obviously, everybody's going to deal with it a little differently. But then when you do decide to come back to the game you're burned out on, play it for a short break or short time. Play, what I've been doing is, I'd play for about an hour or less when I've come back this past week or so. I'll hop in because there's something specific I need, going back to what Rebecca was talking about. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a Nightain alert or test out Revenant changes, test out the new Nezha changes, get his skin unlocked, all that stuff. Go in, do that for a little bit, and then turn the game off. Because if you burned out on the game, why would you come back and play it for 12 hours straight just because it sounded good?
Yeah, exactly.
Because at this point, you're like, I kind of want to play some Warframe today. You log in and play for 15 hours, and then you're like, well,
I'm
was a
done
mistake.
playing Warframe for the day.
Yeah, so it's sort of that age-old thing of like always leave them wanting more. Like log out before you're done at that point. So, because that way, when you go to bed that night, you're thinking like, what am I going to do tomorrow after work? And you're like, I think I might play some Warframe because that was fun today. And, you just kind of like, in a way, you just kind of trick yourself into not being tired of it anymore. And for some reason that works. Yeah,
I literally did this Saturday before work. So I went in and I worked in the evening. I worked a closing shift. So I was going in and I had like 7 hours of work that night. So I was like, I just want to do something relaxing. So I came, I sat at my computer. I had my heating pad on my back. I was just relaxed. Logged into Warframe and I was like, hey, I got those Rivens, so let me go roll my Rivens. So I ended up going and rolling all 3 of my Rivens, and then I logged out of the game.
Yep.
And I had a lot of fun. It was like I was doing them all solo. I was just, running around, doing headshots, because I had to get all 3 of mine involved headshots, which was insane. So I just took the Vectis Prime out on Avara and Nova, and I just ran around on different missions and just headshot stuff. And it was great. And I got my Samaris targets, and then I logged out. Like, it was super simple. I didn't do much. I did 3 or 4 missions, and that was it. But it felt good.
Yeah. speaking to Warframe specifically, one of the things I've found, and this is no offense to any of you, but playing solo. I wasn't even playing with Rebecca. I was playing solo because when you play solo, you control exactly how quickly you move through the mission.
Yep.
And that was kind of refreshing. I took Nezha with the Ceranos and the Radka Dark Dagger, like I said, and I was grinding, or I was not grinding, but I was doing the missions that I needed to do for the Red Veil.
Because I need to get Syndicate missions.
Yeah, because I need to get the special mod for the Dark Dagger, and since I spent all my standing on it, so it's $125K to get the dagger, and then another $25K to get the mod.
Ooh, so that's expensive.
It's pricey, yeah. So I was going by myself, and because and I'm just as guilty. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but you do get to the point where you're like bullet jumping everywhere. You know exactly where you need to go to complete the mission, and you want to keep that mission time under 5 minutes.
Yep.
And when I went in there, I was like, okay, I can't do this. I need to do it my way. So I was like, well, I'm just going to look for all of the Red Veil tokens on the map. And I'm creeping through the mission. I got my bow. I'm setting everything on fire because it's Nezha, and he's great now, by the way. I know we did kind of skipped past that, but man.
we'll save that for a coming week.
Yeah,
because Nezha's awesome.
He might get nerfed this week. I don't want to
don't jinx it. DE, don't listen to him.
I'm
Stop.
just saying, I just don't want a repeat of the Revenant where I praise DE and then the following week have to tear them a new one. So. Yeah.
I hate that phrase, tear them a new one.
I know, right?
Because all I can think of is tear them a new asshole. And I just lol.
But that's the literal.
I know.
Yeah.
No. Side note aside, hate that phrase. Never say it around me. Ugh.
It's the implication.
Ugh.
Sorry. I'm not Dennis.
Keep going.
But so the other thing is, when I come back, I do one of two things, and we'll frame this in Warframe, but this holds true for everything.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, because what burned me out on Warframe was grinding and MR grinding, that side of not just grinding in general. I don't mind grinding. Diablo 3 is one of my favorite games. I love grinding. But the first thing is when I come back, I play a classic setup. I played Nezha this time because it's a little different. But when I first got in, I ran a mission on Nyx. I ran a mission on Oberon. I ran a mission on, who was the other one? There was another. Volt?
Yeah.
I think it was Volt. It's just, frames that I used to really enjoy. Mm-hmm. Not frames that I've currently been playing. Like, I didn't run an Octavia mission. I didn't run a Korra mission because I play them a lot lately. Whereas, with Oberon, like, I might, Oberon is one of those, like, I play him like one mission, and then I don't play him for a few days, and then I play like one because he's fun. I really like him, but so to go back to like a loadout that you love, a frame that you really adore, with a gun you like, and you like these things, and you have good builds on them, which means you don't need to go to Hydron and make a good build anymore.
Yeah, you don't need to Forma or anything. Yeah.
And it's the same with Guild Wars 2. We've recently kind of gone back to Guild Wars 2, and instead of hitting the grind and going and doing new stuff, I logged into my Norn Daredevil, and I was like, all right, girl, we're just going to go run around the desert and hit shit with the staff because that's what I enjoyed about that character. And it's, it was refreshing, and you enjoy stuff. And then the opposite of that is build a new frame and a new weapon, because maybe you're tired of all your loadout slots. Maybe that was the problem. And level it the long way. Yep. Don't go to Hydron.
Or a COD.
I equate going to Hydron and a COD, and Helene to a lesser extent, as buying a level boost at this point. You don't really learn it, but you have a max level one that everyone expects you to know how to use. And since you leveled it in Hydron, like there are some frames that, like Nezha is a decent example, actually. Hydron takes forever for him because the way his skills worked. I don't know if this is true since the update. I've been changing up how I do things, but there are frames that just like Zephyr. Like, what do you really know about playing Zephyr for grinding her to 30 on Hydron? You
That's
don't.
fair, yeah.
She's not a bad frame, but she's not really conducive to that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Neja. You could argue so many frames, just, they're not defense mission type frames. So there's that whole thing. So do it the long way. Learn how to play the frame. Learn how to, tweak your play style around how they work on certain maps and, that stuff. And it takes forever. And if you're impatient and you just want a level 30 frame, this is probably not a good idea. Then go with my other idea. But, that's how I do. And that sort of like in other games sort of equates to like if you've been raiding in WoW or Final Fantasy with Rebecca, this was a big one for her, and you've been playing for a long time. Mm-hmm. Play a new character on a new server so you don't have any of your stuff. Go start over somewhere.
Yep.
And that's especially true in Final Fantasy 14 because you can't replay the story because your one character learns all the classes in Final Fantasy. So when you go back to level a new class, you have to find alternate ways to do it because you don't get the story quests again.
I.e. dungeons.
Dungeons. It's grinding dungeons. Yeah.
Dungeons.
Yeah, so you may really, like, this is what happened to me is when Stormblood came out, I fell in love with the samurai. I love how the samurai plays. I love how his kit works together. So much fun. But I couldn't stomach another dungeon run on him because I had to grind dungeons to get him leveled up because I was completely out of side quests to do at this point.
Yeah.
I didn't even have like side quests left because I'd done it for, my Dark Knight and a few other classes before I got to the samurai. So by the time I got him ready to go in, I was like, now he's ready for more dungeons, and threw up a little in my mouth and logged out and unsubbed.
Yeah.
And it sucks too because we, like, when Stormblood came out, we went to do a pottery thing, and we were like painting these potteries so they'd put it in the kiln, and so I have a bowl, a little rice bowl, noodle bowl that is themed after the Final Fantasy 14 samurai. I put all
so
these logos.
Cool.
It's beautiful. I matched the colors to the colors of the skills. I love it. And I haven't played Final Fantasy since we got the cup home or the bowl home.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's a little different because you need a character of a certain level to make a samurai. I get that. But at the same time, like what Rebecca did was she went to a new server so she could start a new character and go through all the story missions again. And she seemed to genuinely have fun. Like she really enjoyed her time back in the game. So, I personally love that way. And that's kind of what I'm doing with Lord of the Rings Online. We've had so many false starts with that game that when I re-downloaded it, I was like, I'm gonna make a character on a new server, so that way I don't have all of these like half-leveled, level 7 characters that are barely out of the starting zone.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna pick the one character, no alts, and I'm just gonna start the story. And that's been a lot of fun so far.
So yeah. So we did get a lot of responses from people about this, and I just kind of want to highlight, and this is just what I would consider the advice from the community of people who are playing right now. So Lucy and Fox emailed us, and they're an MR25 player with over 1,000 hours on PS4. So, they've been playing a really long time. But their advice was music. They said the default music in Warframe is awesome, but obviously can get a little tiresome after the 100th hour or so. So they eventually muted it and began playing their own custom soundtrack through Spotify. So essentially what they've done is during those really long grinds that they're doing, Kuva farming, Eidolon hunting, endless missions and stuff, what they'll do is they'll turn on their music or a podcast or something to kind of keep them engaged in their brain or to break apart a little bit. So it's not just listening to the same monotonous music over and over and over again. And I can definitely see this with Warframe. The music is fantastic, but sometimes that battle music, it just swells up and then it takes forever to get down, and I get really annoyed with it. So I actually probably have the music muted at this point too.
I do. I actually did this a lot when we played Diablo. To this day, I cannot play Diablo 2 without, or listen to AFI's Sing the Sorrow without having flashbacks of the other. Because
I remember those days.
Yeah, right? Because, I mean, first of all, Sing the Sorrow, fantastic album. Great album. But I got it around the same time that I got Diablo 2 again after not having it for a little while. So I started playing it, and, the music is wonderful. It's a fantastic soundtrack. But, when you're pushing 1,000 hours in any video game, the music does start to get on your nerves a little bit. So I had a little, because, keep in mind, I was still in high school at this point. Boomboxes were still, well, they were losing relevancy, but it wasn't weird that I owned one.
He was a hipster before hipsters were cool.
Hipster or just too broke to afford an iPad. Let's go with iPod. Let's go with that one.
That's the original hipster right there.
Oh, okay, yeah. But so I had a little silver boombox on my desk playing Sing the Sorrow while I was playing Diablo 2. So the soundtrack is like, everybody knows that first note of Diablo 2's soundtrack.
Yep.
But after that, it immediately becomes Davey Havok singing, the Leaving Song Part 2 instead of the real music, because that's just when I'm wrecking face with a barbarian. And I even picked up on this playing 3 when you'd get certain skills, because the barbarian, I think, is officially supposed to be the barbarian from the second game.
Yes.
So,
they're supposed to harken back to each other.
Yeah. So he gets some of the skills that he had in the second game. So when you can't really get the exact build that you ran because they changed enough of it. But when I got certain ones like the Whirlwind, I could just hear, the certain riffs. I was like, oh my God, nostalgia trip.
Yeah. For me, a lot of times anymore, I either have Twitch up and I'm watching another streamer. And usually what I've found specifically with Warframe, not that I don't appreciate all the content creators out there and some of the other streamers out there, especially some of the partners, they have fantastic streams. Definitely check them out. But for me, I watch streams of other games. And this is going to sound really bad. My biggest person that I watch anymore is a guy named Creator, who's an Australian streamer for Fortnite. I don't play much Fortnite. I have it downloaded. I maybe play it once, twice a month when I'm feeling it. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I haven't played it in over a month now. But I actually watch that because it's completely different from Warframe. It is a completely different thing, and it's entertaining in its own right. So it's not me watching the grinding that I'm doing in game. Or I listen to podcasts, and recently the biggest one that I've been listening to is Mysterious Universe.
Oh, I love Mysterious Universe.
Which is Ben and Aaron, who are also Australian. I'm seeing a trend here.
I've been seeing it for years, honey. I'm waiting on Chris Hemsworth to come to the door, and I'll be like, okay, well, I'll just pack my stuff.
Aw.
I'm taking Gracie, though.
Aw, don't take the dog. As long as I get the cat.
If you can snag Chris Hemsworth, I'll go with a smile on my face. That's fine.
That's fair. That's touche. But I listen to Mysterious Universe, which is a whole podcast that does 2 episodes a week about missing 411 and UFOs and Sasquatch and possessed items and weird cults, and it's like the randomest podcast, but it's so good.
Secret Agent Sasquatch.
Yeah, Secret Agent Sasquatch. Or this last episode was involving prostitute exorcisms.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So literally I just listen to something else, and it really does help. That's what I check out. So I love that advice, Lucian. It's something that I already do. So if this is something that might sound interesting to you, use music or use a podcast or use something else to break that up.
There are 3 great soundtracks that personally I think fit with almost everything.
Okay.
Nier Automata.
Yep.
Which is soundtrack. A wonderful sound. It's like 5 hours long.
Oh, so good.
Guild Wars 2, especially if you can get the 2 expansion soundtracks wrapped into the same YouTube video.
The two expansions are probably a little bit better than the originals, personally. But continue.
And The Witcher 3. That is
Witcher 3 is a staple in this
gorgeous soundtrack.
Yes.
And if you can skip the actual theme Skyrim soundtrack, but the Dovahkiin song, I hate it.
I do hate the Dovahkiin.
I hate it so much. But every other piece of music that Jeremy Soule wrote for Skyrim and Oblivion is wonderful.
Yes.
Also,
yes,
I will point out the Darksiders 2 soundtrack is good too. But it's not for everybody. It's kind of weird, like
it is very
dissonant, odd music.
So Zeal emailed in, and I definitely like the second one on this one because the first one, he's also a mastery level 25, almost 26 gamer who's been playing for a really, really long time, and he's actually admitted that they have had a couple burnouts. And the first one was playing other games, playing things that are different. Devil May Cry, Darksiders 2 are the two that they mentioned, which are very different than Warframe. So definitely, if you are getting burnt out, try a different game. Pick up an oldie that you still like.
Darksiders 2 is such a good game.
It is a really good game.
And 3 is coming out next month?
Yes,
I think it's
very
next month.
soon. Yeah, so expect us to be talking about that game because that game is, oh my God.
I can't wait.
That's a whole other discussion. But the recent almost burnout was fought off by an ongoing concept. So his sign off in the emails, and I know I've said it before, but whenever he emails the show, and I still love it, he has the resist the Lotus tag. So basically, a couple clan members and him started an idea prior to the new story stuff, the prologue and sacrifice stuff.
Slight spoilers here.
Slight spoiler,
but
yeah.
This is nothing that, like, if you watch the trailer for the new war or something, like, it's you kind of know.
Yeah,
like,
so it was prior to the Lotus leaving with Ballas, and essentially what it is they kind of came up with their own line of fan fiction and lore with it, where they are rallying behind the Tenno and that the Lotus wasn't who she really claimed to be, which is kind of funny that it kind of lent itself to actually happening. So they kind of built their own and created design characters and everything within the Warframe universe. So to fight burnout, they write and create fun stuff in the game, for themselves, which I think is awesome. I'm a big proprietor to writing fan fiction. I do it a lot. I do it a lot for roleplay characters because I am a role player at heart.
I was actually going to say this is super similar to something that you and I have done where when I play games, and I actually just started this with Lord of the Rings, but I've done this in Guild Wars and WoW, where you keep almost like a diary for your character.
Yep.
And you do it in character. So it's just like an ongoing headcanon project.
Yep.
So I love this though. So Resist the Lotus is, yep.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. So it's really cool to learn where the Resist the Lotus tag came from.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I really appreciate it. But yeah, so basically they kind of write and create fan fiction in their own kind of lore for the game, which I think is really freaking awesome. And then the other part was to try something different in the game. They were talking about how combat's one thing, but there's also plat grinding, there's trade chat, there's the dojo, stuff like that. So doing something different is definitely huge.
I need to do PvP.
I need to do Conclave so bad.
I'm not a huge fan of PvP in games, but when it's fun, it's always fun for me. So I need to try it.
What's so interesting that you say that is I literally, before I logged out the other day when I was checking out the new Strata Relay on the PC, which is fantastic. That thing looks so cool. I went into the Conclave place to Teshin and I did the initiation with them.
Oh, nice.
So I went ahead and did that and I have the Conclave sigil now. It's really cool.
Very cool. I should go get that.
Yeah. So See Your Prophet, the biggest thing that I took away from this kind of response that we got on Twitter from Seer, was that they've kind of coined the phrase, you can't let the game play you. Yep. Which I think Jeremy really touched on with the feeling guilty to play, that you have to play it.
Yeah. So
we play games to have fun, and the second that it doesn't seem fun and you feel guilty, almost like that work guilt, man, I really should go to work, but I really don't want to. The second you start feeling that, stop.
Yeah.
Take a break.
It's funny because my brother and I were playing Divinity with some of our other friends last night, and when everyone else got offline, he and I hung out in voice chat for a few minutes, and we were chatting, and he was like, I really should. And then he caught himself, and he was like, man, I'm so mad. I was like, what's wrong? He's like, I was about to say I really should get onto Warframe, but now that just makes me not want to play it.
Yep.
And I was like, I feel you. I know exactly that feeling. It's that guilt that you feel like you have to go play. And
yeah.
That sucks.
It really does. So that's something that you really want to fight against. And then we just got a lot of responses, especially on Discord, of people saying, they play other games, they log out, stop completely and play something different. I think that's the biggest advice a lot of people have had is just try something different, switch or cycle between different types of games. You don't have to play Warframe exclusively. That's another thing to remind yourself is you're a gamer. And you're okay to be excited about other games and play other stuff.
We had a couple on here that I actually don't feel like we touched on, but that's partly because we haven't finished everything. But Wushi brings up a funny little thing about watching anime, which I thought was fun. But the other thing that she mentions is helping other people. And as someone it's hard for me to see that a little bit in Warframe because I'm not MR25. I still have a lot of stuff that I personally need to do. But going back to WildStar, as we started to kind of wrap up with everything in that game, there was a certain refreshing feeling you got from getting a new person into the guild and they were seeing everything for the first time. And that sort of lights your fire again. It may be fleeting, but you start to feel like, oh yeah, I remember the first time I got my hoverboard, and you kind of just want to go, mess around on your hoverboard and stuff. And so that's kind of a good point, helping other people.
Yeah, I definitely think that helped us with WildStar specifically.
Yeah.
Because as Jeremy mentioned before, we were part of a really big guild at the time on the roleplay server before the mega server hit and stuff. And our roles, and we were officers and kind of helped running the guild at the time. Our roles were really to kind of help train people on dungeons. And so there was something so cool about going into the first couple dungeons where you're really showing people how it works, and the first boss that they fight and seeing their face with all the mechanics, and we wipe and we're like, it's okay guys, just here's some advice and keep going. It was really cool to see that, to see them experience something that I had found so trivial at that point because we had been running those so easily, and we were, 3-manning those dungeons at that point, as we were doing the harder content and pushing ourselves harder. It was just really cool to see.
So I can totally see that in a game like Warframe, the idea of doing more than just the Terra list is still nerve-wracking to me. I've only finished the other two one time or twice, I think, for the second one, but still I would not if someone, and I've had this come up a few times in the Discord, hey, any tips for playing against, the Gauntlist? Ask Ziggy. That's my advice.
Ask BBQ.
Ask BBQ and
ask
Ziggy.
people more experienced that are willing to help.
They know what they're doing. I'm just going to say well, let me tell you what I did with the Gauntlist. Don't die.
I ran around in a circle and just dropped shields.
Yeah.
And everything, and they were killing it faster than I was dropping shields. So I literally was just running around in a circle.
I was on Harrow, so the only thing was when what's his name comes over the comms and says there's an energy spike coming. I was like, okay, hit 4. I did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I'm doing my part. So, it's cool to see it from someone else's eyes where they feel comfortable doing all that stuff. What's something that helps you deal with burnout? Finding new players and helping them with the content, because to be completely fair to the game, the first half of your experience is very easy. I think there's a steep learning curve. Once you've got that learning curve, the solar system itself is pretty easy to get through.
Yeah. There's only a couple of stuff like boss fights and stuff like that might be a little harder.
And then, there's Arcwing, which is its own thing. That can be tough. I still have a couple Arcwing missions that I haven't done because they're interception missions and no one ever wants to do them, and they're really tough, the later ones. So, but it's cool to think about, there are people that, that's how they get refreshed on the game, is help lower end people. So
yeah, and I do see that a lot on the Warframe PC Facebook group, of people posting screenshots of their chat log where somebody they hop into a mission and there's a really low MR new player or something, and they just start chatting with them and they're like, man, I really want this, and so then they invite them to their dojo and they trade it to them for free and stuff. Helping people, it's great. When we first got started with the podcast and stuff, and we had a lot of new players coming and kind of joining us and learning the game with us, which was really fun to learn with other people. But what we did all the time is we would just set up trades. Someone's like, man, I don't have this mod, I just trade it to them. Or and they would trade back. Like, it was so helpful just to have like instead of like expecting plat and expecting something out of it, we were really just helping each other.
I've been gifted an alarming amount of stuff at this point, like, you know, whether it's like legit like cash shop stuff or if it's like, you know, mods from like
blueprints,
mods and blueprints from like BBQ. You know, he's really bad about it. Like, I just give that to you. Like, no.
Yep.
I'm gonna pay you for it at this point, man. You've given me so much.
Yeah, and we have that with some people too. Like, some of our mods, they'll pop up and say, "Hey, does anybody have this?" And I'll just send them a message. I'm like, "Yeah, I have it." And then they're like shoving plat at me, and I'm like, "No, just take the damn mod." Like, I'm trying to help you, man. You don't need to pay me. I'm paying it back.
Yeah, give me that 43rd vitality mod you've got there. Like.
And I will take the 120th ammo case that you have. Oh man, all those mods. So yeah, I loved all the feedback from this. So thank you guys for reaching out, letting us know what you like what you do. It's nice to see that, one, we're not the only people that have, that are like this, and there are people that have been playing a lot longer than us that have bounced off and come back and bounced off and come back. And it's just something realistic that happens in gaming, especially as games are becoming more of a service and there's more updates and stuff, and the longevity of a game is not just the release and then it's done. Like, there's more to games now.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to, get some feedback and to get other people.
For better or worse, this whole games as a service mentality does not seem to be going anywhere. So.
Yep. For better or worse. So we hope that, if you're going through burnout or you're kind of feeling it, I'm hoping that this helps, one, tell you that you're not alone. This happens all the time and we do it constantly. So,
and it's okay to
it's okay. There's nothing wrong. It happens. That's what happens when you play a game for a really long time. I can tell you right now, the people that play, I had an old friend who played EverQuest 2 for years and years and years, and he would take like months off and then just go back to it for like 2 months and play. Even though he was still paying the subscription and everything, he was still like really invested in that game. But, it's okay to step away and then to come back. There is nothing wrong with it. And it's really good for you, because the last thing you want to do is to burn a bridge with a game that you ultimately would really love. And the last thing you want is, to see that big, hey, Fortuna's been released in Warframe. And you're like, yeah, but all I have is my burnout memories. And I don't want to go back, because there are more exciting things coming in Warframe. And we really don't want to get burned out yet, because there's still more to come. They're still working hard and they're still pushing updates.
Some crazy cool stuff coming.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm almost glad that the last couple weeks is kind of when it hit me and I've sort of toned down how much I'm playing, because now, like, watching the last dev stream kind of started building, I don't want to say hype, because
excitement.
I'm not really hyped about things anymore. Even if I say hype, I mean excitement. But it's like exciting. It's genuinely exciting. And then now, like, knowing, like, it's the middle of September now. They're probably, like, realistically, we probably are looking at a month or two away from Fortuna.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, everything they're showing, like, it looks like polish and bug fix stage now.
Yeah, and making sure stuff doesn't break, like the lighting broke on the dev stream. So
right, so I think, like, I really do think, like, it's close. So that's got me energized a little bit.
It's got me getting, like, buzzing a little bit. Listen, all right, let's go, let's get new stuff, let's get new story, let's get new fun stuff to do. So thank you again for everybody that took the time to write in and share your experiences and share what happened and what you do to kind of combat it, or what you're doing right now, because I think a lot of the community is there, specifically with Warframe, as we're waiting for this new stuff to come out. And we've had a couple new frames, but it seems now we're reached like a holding pattern where everything, like, we're getting a little bit here and there, but we're just waiting for all the new stuff.
And that's always that weird, like, holding pattern. That's always where burnout starts catching up with people.
It's when everything slows down and they realize that they're getting burned out.
The calm before the storm, because you start looking ahead at what's coming and less at, like, what's right in front of you, and that's pretty natural. I'm very guilty of that myself. I noticed it a long time ago, like when expansions come out for other MMOs and like, hey, we got a new character class coming out. I'm like, that's all I want to play now.
Yep.
I don't, this Guild Wars 2 was real bad when they announced Revenant. I was like, I've been playing this warrior for 4 years. He's dead to me. I just want to play Revenant now.
Just want to play Revenant. Yep. And that happens. So yeah. So again, thank you guys so much. And I think that's going to be it for this episode. I think we're going to wrap episode 20.
You ready for a gut punch? That's it for Tennotalk.
I know. So just to reiterate, and I know we've said it several times, we are not going anywhere.
Yep.
We are just going to be, coming out, and we're going to hit it guns blazing, and we're going to start officially, we're going to start plugging forward. And thank you guys for all the sentiment of this process. It is a long process, which is why we're taking next week off to make sure that we can really do it right, because we don't want to half-ass anything. And
I'm going to go ahead and say it now, because we need stakes. The YouTube channel is launching along with this.
Yes.
So expect the YouTube channel to start the first week of October.
Yep. Yeah. So we're going to essentially what we're going to be doing, and then we can talk about our plan at this point. Because like I said, like we said last episode, we want to be 100% transparent with you guys and 100% honest. Because I think that there's a lot to be said when you guys know what's going on behind it, and you guys know why we're doing everything that we're doing. Because we want you guys to stay in the loop with us as we're growing here. So the YouTube will be launching. We have right now in the works, we are doing a Guild Wars 2 story Let's Play. So going through the original story of Guild Wars 2.
Yep.
So we're not doing it won't be all of the boring leveling stuff of going through and doing hearts. But if you were ever interested in the story, or you only played human characters and you never saw the Asura story up until the personal story or anything like that, feel free to check those out. Those are going to be coming up, and those are going to be weekly.
Or if you've missed any of the Living World updates, because I have all of them.
Yeah, we're going to be going through and doing Living World as well.
Yep.
Obviously, we can't do Living World Season 1
because
of that, which is so sad, because we actually were playing hardcore during that, and it was such a cool experience that I probably will never happen again.
I thought what we could do is we'll do a reaction video. We'll play, because they have a wrap-up, so like a bridge video, and we'll play the video, and then we'll just
talk about the experience.
Wax poetic about our experience.
Yeah. So we have that's in the works. That's going to be coming out with our YouTube channel at launch. We're also going to be doing a mass dump of episodes 1 through 20 of Tennotalk. They are all going to go up on YouTube, so you can listen to them on YouTube. I did get your guys' emails as well. I had somebody mention that we're not on Spotify, and I'm going to rectify that with this launch. So you should hopefully see. I'm hoping that I can get them to retroactively take all of the past 20 episodes as well as the new ones. So that should be going in, but be keeping an eye. I'll try to keep you guys in the loop with that one, because Spotify is a little bit different on how we have to get syndicated with them. So I'm working on it. We will get it out there. It just might take a little bit longer, but my goal is to get us on Spotify as well. So yeah, that's at least so far what's coming with the YouTube. I know we have some other stuff planned, and we have the second episode of the podcast that's going to be coming out as well. So yeah, all of that's going to be coming up on YouTube. The website is getting an overhaul starting next week, so the website will probably be down for about a week. It'll probably look weird, and I'm going to be getting everything, or it won't have any updates as we're getting ready for this, and then it will relaunch as one couple verses.
And I think we have some one-off stuff, at least one horror game we're going to play.
Yes. Yep.
We got all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
The YouTube channel is going to be probably more active than the podcast, because with the podcast we do have a limit of how much we can upload in a month.
Yes.
But YouTube doesn't give a shit, so we can just keep, so I don't want to overpromise and say we'll have a video every day.
God, no, we could not do that. I work 60 hours a week.
Yeah, right now we can't do that, but we are going to have the Guild Wars Let's Play is going to be a weekly thing. So that'll be at least 3 videos a week, because we're going to have the current podcast, the second episode of the podcast, and the Guild Wars episode at the very least. And then we'll do one-off stuff when we can, because I start my new job tomorrow morning. So once I know what my schedule is going to be like, that'll let us know how much can we record in a week. And
Yeah, it'll give us more of an idea of what we can handle moving forward.
But yeah, we've got a lot coming. And, you know, if you've got suggestions of games we should try out, we are not even going to kind of promise we'll get to all of them because money and all that good stuff.
Yep.
But, you know, leave some suggestions so we know like kind of what you guys are interested in seeing played. And,
or games that you really like, or even I know we were talking soon that we're going to be having that horror game thing going on too. So any recommendations there? And then lastly, we are going to be launching that Patreon. It will be launching on October as well.
Yep.
So you'll be seeing links and hear us talking about that a little bit. We don't want to add too many like pledge levels because we're really not. One, we don't have the time right now because of our work, because we have to work to kind of help supplement income and stuff like that. Since, you know, bills are a thing, rent's a thing, sadly. Utilities are a thing, sadly. I wish they weren't, but they are. But we will, our first goal with that is to get up enough money to submit for the trademark and pay for lawyer fees to get One Couple Verses officially trademarked so we can own that. And that is our big push, is that we would like to own this and we want to make this ours, you know, and really make this our project and be able to stand by it instead of just hoping and praying that nobody copies at the end of the day, you know?
Right.
So that's our goal. So that will be launching, and we'll have more information about what extra stuff will be there. I think we're only going to do like 1, maybe 2 pledge levels, if that. And it's only going to be like $5. Like it's going to be super cheap.
Yeah, they'll be cheap because this isn't, at this point anyway, this isn't about like getting rich off this channel. This is about like, you know, if we can get the little things, can we get the trademark done? Can we get enough regular coming in that we can bump up our libsyn so we can put the second episode on our mainstream?
Feed, yeah. Yep.
And, you know, that kind of stuff. And then eventually it'll get into like, can Rebecca go part-time? You know, or can I stop working so I have time to edit more video? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we can release more.
But so that's all down the road. We can deal with that in a year or two when, you know, when instead of talking to a few thousand of you, we're talking to like 20,000, 30. Oh my God, that's scary.
But that's just some of the stuff that we have in the works. So that, like I said, will all be coming up on October 1st.
Yeah, man. I can't wait.
I know. I'm excited.
I'm so excited about I know like a lot of content creators say that. I feel like that's something that, you know, maybe that's just because like all the streamers you watch are all like, they've been jazzed about this gaming house they just moved into. So for the last month, all I've heard is I'm so excited about all this content I have coming out. And so it feels a little cliche to say that.
I know, right?
But I genuinely I'm so excited for all this other stuff. And the feedback from you guys has just been a little overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah. So
I'm so ready to get this started.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be it. We're pushing our time. Sorry, this episode's a little bit longer than normal. But we wanted to make sure that we had a good discussion and we really got into it and stuff. And we, you know, did this discussion justice versus, you know, just glossing over it and doing a half-assed job.
And we figured, you know, every season finale runs a little longer than the regular episode, right?
A little longer.
That's pretty
We'll
normal.
Still never beat our Saren episode, though.
I don't think anyone wants to hear me talk about a frame for 3 hours straight.
Jesus, that episode was so long. It was so good that it was long. But yeah, so thanks again, guys. Thank you guys for all the support. And we will be back on October 1st with One Couple Versus Warframe. Whatever we decide to call that episode. One Couple Versus something. It'll be probably whatever we talk about, but it'll probably be Warframe.
Yeah.
Probably Neza.
One Couple versus Nezha.
Spoiler alert, we're probably gonna, the next episode that you guys are gonna get is October, is gonna be about Neza. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we need to talk about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be about Neza. We already have it planned. It's gonna be about Neza. So yeah,
okay.
I'm super
Goodbye,
excited.
everybody.
Goodbye! And until next time, guys, stay safe, Tenno. Tennotalk is a weekly Warframe podcast produced and edited by Rebecca and Jeremy of One Couple Verses. Warframe is created by Digital Extremes. Music for the podcast is provided by Purple Planet Music, and the Orta sound clip provided by the Digital Extremes Fansite Kit. You can email the show at tennotalk@gmail.com. You can also download the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and along with most major podcasting apps. If you like the show, be sure to rate us and leave a review, and thank you so much, and we'll see you on October 1st with One Couple Versus Episode 1.